Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast. I'm your host, Mike Luke, joined by Mr. John Brogan. Hello, John Brogan. How are you doing today? Long time no see.
Yeah, I've been better. I'd have preferred an Arizona win and another game coming, but it's all good.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, what's funny? I'm proud of this team. All right, this is very stupid. All right, what I'm very proud about with this team is how they are. Listen, last year at this time with Clemson, that was disappointing. How Arizona lost that game, and just because you knew Arizona's better, they kind of choked that one away. I have the exact opposite of this feeling. I'm incredibly proud of this team, how they played. They went against a better team and they lost, but they battled the entire time. It's a totally different feeling, Brogan.
Well, and I don't know that I can remember I'd have to really think about the last team that was such a roller coaster ride throughout the season, where the beginning of the season, this is the worst Arizona team in, since like the Lute beginning Sean Miller era, to, oh, we're hot, to, oh, we can't play again, to, oh, we're good in the Big 12 tournament, oh, we won some tournament games. So, I think in a weird way, that season is almost more enjoyable to watch because you get to experience all the emotions of like up, down versus they either stink all year or they kind of steamroll all year and then crap out in the Elite Eight or whatever. So Same thing, right? This team played hard. They were physical. They were Lloyd's toughest team. And so you always knew they were going to battle no matter what. And so that was what I appreciated most about this team.
We talked about it before the season too, and I got beat up for it. There are no soft weenies on this team. This was a tough team. This was his toughest team. I want to give a massive shout out again because I think it's weird, and we talked about this, and I don't want to turn this all into the Caleb Love fest, but I don't know that there's ever going to be a player that was better at Arizona that had so many people on his back the entire time. We talked about it here. People just don't get it, man. What he did, Caleb Love was the best player on this team, and he was the second best player out on the court last night. The problem is that Cooper Flagg was also out on the court. But this dude's legacy, I think, is going to really age well, and there's a lot of people out there that just gave the guy a lot of crap for really no reason.
Yeah, and I think you saw his game evolve even more this year than it did last year, where the last, 7, 8, 9 games, he turned into a player that you could easily see on an NBA roster, under control, picking his spots, dropping 30 in multiple games, 7, 8 assists in a game, true team leader. You heard pretty much every one of his teammates in the post-game interview stuff was
crazy.
Funny to see, but it was expected. They all came out with a purpose to mention Caleb Love specifically because they hear all the noise. They know what time it is. They know the crap he gets. They hear what Goodman's saying.
Right.
And so I don't know that I've seen that in a long time in Arizona where they come out and said, Caleb Love's our guy. We love our teammate. He's the best teammate ever. He's our leader. Like, he's our guy.
Yeah, and again, he was he mattered when it most. All right, Luke is my daddy. Luke drinking the Cooper Flagg Kool-Aid. Well, we're gonna get to Cooper Flagg. Not only do I think Cooper Flagg is probably the best prospect since Anthony Davis in college. That's how that's
American prospect. He's not a better prospect than Wemby, but American prospect.
No. Yeah, American prospect in college. We'll get to that. I can't think of anybody that's better than him, but that's a little bit on. Okay, we got a couple super snaps here. Let's see here. $4.99 from Andy Bryant. Back the A on softball, baseball, and the offseason. Very much appreciate you, Andy. And we had one from H. Fuchs as well. H. Fuchs, lethargic, bear down. I hear you, man. I hear you. I would take him over Zion Williamson because Zion Williamson, you could tell, looked like he was going to be an injury problem. Again, I didn't think it would be to this extent, but he was injured at Duke. The way that he played, he didn't take care of himself, all of that stuff. I'll take Cooper Flagg. All right. Now, when it comes to Arizona then and what you saw in this, I want to talk a little bit then about where this team moves then going on. You got Koa Pete. Now, Shear has people on his message board now believing that basically Koa Pete is a hustle energy guy. Yeah. I'm going to say something about this. And I thought about this, when you are a top 5 prospect from the time you are a freshman in high school to the time you are a senior in high school, when everybody has seen everything that you can do, you've been scouted thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and you enter at about 5 and you leave at about 5, you got a lot more than just some hustle energy vibes to you there, Brogan.
Yeah. And the scouting report on Koa Pete early in his high school career was he's already physically mature. His body may not develop more. Turns out he's gotten bigger, more powerful, more athletic. He's more athletic than people want to give him credit for. That's for sure. Like, I feel like a lot of times people are making Koa Pete out like he's a at the rim or below the rim guy. He's an above the rim player.
Yes.
He's athletic. He can handle better than a lot of power forwards. Shooting's going to be a little inconsistent, but if he's 15 feet and in, there's no concerns there. Is he going to come out and be able to shoot threes as a freshman? Probably not. But he's an underrated passer. He's an underrated ball handler. He's an underrated athlete. And when you're a top 5 to 7, 8 player in the country as a freshman, you stay there as a sophomore, you stay as a junior, you stay as a senior.
You are what you are.
You're supposed to progress, and you're a top 10 player in the country.
You're forgetting one of those. You're forgetting that this is one of those situations where it's you're a top 7 to 8 player, and this is all based off NBA potential. So if you're viewed as a top 7 to 8 player in your class for all 4 years, guess what? You're a top 7 to 8 player. He didn't come out of nowhere. There's not limited scouting. It's not like there's some Zapruder films of him from like Scandinavia or something. You just know what it is. Now, Jose L. Roman Jr. We'll get to those in just a second. Hopefully, I'd like to be wrong. Nick Arenas. This is actually a great question. Well, Nick Arenas always asks. I think that's actually a fair comp. I think Derek Williams' freshman year, Koa Pete's freshman year. I think that's a very very good call. Actually, from an impact perspective, what say you?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they might look a little different, but like, we joked about this about a month ago. Trey Townsend was averaging 11 points and 4 rebounds by basically just standing out there midway through the season.
Right.
Like, I don't expect anything less than like 15, 8, and 3 from Koa as a freshman. Like, he's that big of an impact player. I don't think he's going to be like 20 and 9 guy, because that's like, once every 5 to 10 years.
But neither was Derek Williams.
Agreed. Agreed. 15, 8, and 3. He's going to shoot over 50% from the floor. He's going to get to the free throw line a lot. He's good enough defender. I like the Derek Williams freshman impact. I think that's right.
I think that's a very good one. That's where I'm going to go with this. Now, I know Javier, the sky is falling. We got some results, a loss. Whatever. Okay. And Andy Bryant, I said that this is what Mike stated, best prospect. I said he's the best domestic prospect since Anthony Davis in college. And I believe that. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Can you?
No. He's a different prospect. He's infinitely more skilled than Zion. And so, you look at the best player to come out of college in the last couple of years was Banchero. He was the 3rd pick in the draft, 2nd pick, whatever he was. Maybe he was 1st. I can't remember.
But you still had some questions about him, where this guy, there's none.
All NBA, right? Exactly.
Yes. This is he's just an awesome prospect. Now let's talk about some of the players. Then, so you got Koa Pete in there. I think Koa Pete is going to obviously be. We already said that. I believe Henry Vasar will be your starting center next year. And here's where I'm at with Henry. Obviously, you love Henry. I want to have Henry back for as long as Henry wants to be here. Tommy Lloyd did a great job with him. But this is because I remember you and I talking on the phone probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where Henry was just going off. And we're like, do we have to worry about losing him to the NBA this year? Well, you don't have to worry about losing him to the NBA this year, because he's certainly shown some of those, but he's a year away. He'll be at this time next year. He'll be declaring for the NBA draft. I would be, and I'd have to look at it. I would be curious how many better centers will be coming back in college basketball next year than Henry Vasar.
Hunter Dickinson will be back for his 12th year.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I'll take Henry next year over 9th year Hunter Dickinson, because I just think he's going to.
Yeah, I don't think there will be a ton of centers that will be better than Henry next year. I also don't think it's guaranteed that he starts, because Tommy Lloyd loves Krivas. I don't think it matters, because I think there's 25 to 30 minutes a game for Koa, Krivas, and Vasar. But I don't think it's a guarantee that he starts. I think Lloyd loves Krivas.
He does love Krivas, that's for sure. I think it's with what Henry's shown, though. I think it's hard not to start him. But like you said, he is it is what it is. All right. Michael Natowski says Carter should come back. I believe it will pay off immensely for his future earnings and role in the MNBA. I agree with that. I absolutely love what Carter brings to the table, but you also saw there were a lot of games this year, and again, we love Carter. There are a lot of games this year where he just kind of physically at times just looked kind of in over his head. And this isn't NIL. If this was before NIL, I'd say, dude, if you're the 22nd pick, go make a couple $1 million, secure your family. I get it. You could make $1 million by coming back next year, and I think, like you said, Brogan, I don't want to keep stealing your points, so I'll let you say it. But there's a big difference from an NBA GM's perspective if you, on how you go about it.
And thinking about it some more last night is if you're drafted late in the draft, the team's only going to invest so much time in you. So
Right.
Henry, if he's the 23rd pick in the draft, might have 6 months to develop. The other thing is, the situation matters so much. So if you hear Austin Reeves talk about it, he had 4 teams in the second round lined up to pick him. He had, I can't remember who it was, specifically Detroit, I think, called him 43rd pick in the draft, second round. And he's like, no, we're good. They knew they were going to LA because that was the best situation for them. And so the situation matters just as much as when you're drafted and how much time they're going to invest. So I'm never going to fault a kid for going to the NBA as a first round pick. You're guaranteed $7 to like $15 million depending where you're picked, 27 million if you're one, but I'll never judge him for going. But I do think he has a chance to double his money and improve his draft stock by he can cut it in half by coming back next year.
I agree. Jonathan Gibson, very much appreciate it. Thank you, AC12, for all the hard work you guys did. Very much appreciate it. Okay, let's get a couple reads in here, and then I want to get back to a point that Cody James Martin just said because I disagree with it. And amongst many points, Cody James Martin, the great Cody James Martin. RJ's Frozen Cactus. Now, we're probably going to be having some drinking evenings here coming up here once the season's over, where we can all hang out and we can hang out and talk about Kobe L. Thiel. But it's going to be a lot of fun. You can pregame up there at RJ's, 100 plus craft beers, $2 deals, pizza, wings, tacos, burgers, and more. No bad seats in the house. They are absolutely great there. And again, they got that massive parking lot as well. You can watch all the TV. You got a great TV set up. My mom likes going there as well. It's a great spot. And again, we would love to see you up there. Dennis Walsh, maybe he'll be flying his private jet with his casual. I was flying Bert around the other day. Bert. Yeah, must be nice. But RJ's Frozen Cactus. Check it out. All right, now. Michael Rubin from the Rubin Group at Swift Mortgage. Now, there's been a big debate in Tucson as to who is the better bald-headed white shooter, Michael Rubin or John Brogan. Michael Rubin says, unfortunately, it is you, John Brogan. You said that since it was his read, it was him. But Michael Rubin seems to believe that you are a better shooter than him. He has given you this.
Yeah, today it might be him, though. I haven't touched a basketball in a year. It might be him today.
All right. Okay. But either way, he can help buy, sell, or refinance. He's local to Tucson. Lifelong Wildcat fan, former teacher. Use code Jason Terry for $500 off. Again, he's a senior loan officer. He can get better rates than everybody else can. And again, you will thank him. Everybody that goes through him, 5-star rating, my friend Michael Rubin. Scan that thing up there. Use code Jason Terry. All right. Now, Cody James Martin said, "How can somebody look how many 3-pointers Derek Williams made as a freshman?" I'm curious about that because our good pal Cody James Martin just messaged and said that D. Will could shoot as a freshman. I'm betting D. Will made 14 3-pointers his entire freshman year. That's just a guess. I am very curious though about where that is, Brogan. Let me know when you have the how many.
It wasn't just threes. He had a good mid-range game. That's why he was so good at getting to the basket because he'd catch the ball right there at the free throw line and drive right by guys who thought he was going to shoot.
Well, right, but that's Koa Pete, by all accounts, is a very good mid-range game, though, Cody James Martin.
Derek Williams shot 25% from 3 as a freshman, 57% as a sophomore, and he made 4 3-pointers as a freshman.
Yeah.
Only 42 as a sophomore. He was just happened to be 42 for 74, which is amazing.
Yeah, I kind of thought. Cody James Martin, I got a deal for you. I'll bet you Koa Pete makes more 3-pointers than Derek Williams does. How about that? Cody?
I'll take over 4 on that for sure.
Yeah, Cody? Over 4 is easy, but is he going to shoot over 25%, or is he going to be like your boy KJ?
I'll take a chance and say he's going to shoot better than 25%. How about that? How about that?
That's fine.
He's going to make more than 4 threes, and he's going to shoot better than 25%. How about that? All right, that's where we got. Yeah. Okay, that's where we're going to do.
Does he make more threes than KJ has percentage points next year?
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. Well, being there, I think I expect KJ to shoot around 40% from 3 next year. Cody, that's a good one. I will. Yes, I'm going to say here's Koa Pete's 3-point percentage next year. I'm going to say he's 9 of 20. I'm going to say he's 9 of 26 9 of 26. How about that?
Oh, he's making more than 9 3-pointers.
All right.
One every third or fourth game.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, either way, I like it. So either way, we'll take it. All right. Now, Tobe Awaka, the man of girth. I don't believe that Tobe Awaka is. I don't believe that Tobe Awaka will be back. I have no inside info on that, and I very much hope that I am wrong. I love Tobe Awaka. I almost said Kobe Awaka. I love Tobe Awaka. Turn him into Kobe Bryant. I loved Tobe. I just think he's in a minutes crunch next year. And the thing about it too is that it's like you and I were talking about a little bit on the phone. If you got Vasar, who's going to play 25 to 30 minutes, if you've got Koa Pete, who's going to play 25 to 30 minutes, if you've got Vasar, Kribis, who's probably going to play 25 to 30 minutes, those minutes are spoken for, and those guys are all post players. They don't really have any position flexibility, especially a guy like Kribis, and Tobe doesn't really have a lot of position flexibility. Now, to be clear, I would prefer, and again, I could be wrong on this, I would prefer Tobe as the backup big over Kribis, but I'm also going to give the benefit of the doubt to Tommy Lloyd on what he decides, because he's clearly very, very good with big men, Brogan.
Yeah, and look, if you look at the power forward in the center spot, you got 80 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And if you give 25 to Koa, 25 to Vasar as a starter, and 20 to Kribis, you got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, and he's too good for that.
Yeah,
and
he's not in Arizona for 10 minutes.
Tobe or Carter, I'd rather have Carter. And I love Tobe. Now, if you're Tobe, here's where it's also becomes fascinating, because you can go get paid. And honestly, a place like St. John's, a place like Texas Tech, talked about it last night. Texas Tech kills it with their transfer portal recruiting. I mean, he's a guy that if Tobe Awaka, and again, I don't want to make him out like he's, like a first round pick, but if Tobe Awaka in a major conference plays 30 minutes, he's going to be averaging a double-double or close not to it. He's a 13 and 10 guy in 30 minutes. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah, I just think that with him, he's kind of in the Ballo situation where you know exactly what you get.
Great comp.
If you're Tommy, you have to decide if that's good enough for you to win big or not. I don't think it is, because as great as his 12 and 8 is and his physical defense and all those things, last night he couldn't play without fouling. So as you get deeper in the tournament, the teams get better and more athletic and that type of thing, it's kind of a tough spot for him to play.
Yeah, and honestly, Sean Miller would be a great fit for him. Honestly, somebody just mentioned that. Yeah, somewhere like that. But either way, I don't think he's back. But I'll put it to you like this, Brogan. He's a lot better than I ever thought he was going to be here. A lot.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. What he did for Arizona this year, great, awesome. But now that we got Koa, it's kind of expendable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but Michael Nitowski puts it very well. It's good enough for a Sweet 16 team, not a Final Four team. I would agree with that. I think that's spot on. Okay. Now let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about Carter. I am definitely not closing the door on Carter leaving, as a matter of fact. And what leads me, and why I'm like this when it comes to Carter, is that he comes from a family, and I don't think I don't think that he would mind me saying this, but he told me, he's like, we put a lot of faith in what Tommy Lloyd has to say. He says, we're not in a hurry. He said, I played 4 years of college ball. My brother was a McDonald's All-American. We want Carter to get to the NBA, but we wanted him to go about it in the right way. We want him to get there and be ready for success. And that is that's the last sentence is always what I think about. I don't know right now that Carter is set up for emotional or physical success in the NBA. Now, listen, I know there's a lot of people out there. They're like, well, what about, he can go there and develop. I get all of that. Trust me, I get it. But emotionally, though, it's Brogan. You're with grown men every single day, and you can tell Carter's a kid still. Like Carter emotionally, like when Mike Bibby was here as an 18-year-old, that dude only cared about basketball. He was going to be fine. Carter's a kid. You can tell he's goofy. He's probably a little immature at times. Like, he's having fun. That's more what I worry about.
Yeah, and I think what I worry about with Carter is I think he should come back. I think he's got a chance to be a lottery pick if he comes back, first of all. What I worry about, though, is he goes to the workouts. Athletically, he's going to test great. He's going to shoot the ball at a super high level. He's a great kid from a great family. His interviews are going to be good. And then all of a sudden, it's like, does he creep up to like 16th? And then you can't say no as you start inching close to the lottery. That's my fear with him, is he's going to test well. He's going to show up well. But I also do trust the fact. When his family came to Arizona, they thought it was the beach. That's where their initial mindset was. And so
Right.
they're going to make the right decision for him. They're smart. They're going to take their time. And, one thing I trust about Tommy is, there's a story out there that Matherin was trying to come back to Arizona, and Tommy had to be like, no, dude, you're a lottery pick. You have to go. Like, we would be doing you a huge disservice if we let you come back and advise you. So I think Tommy will be honest with Carter too.
All right. Now, Dennis Walsh, I would disagree here a little bit. Arenas was the least mature, but Arenas was a force of nature physically. Arenas was physically the most, I've always felt Arenas was the physically most talented guard I've ever seen come through here. And, he averaged 30. By the time he was 25, he was averaging 31 points per game or whatever. I mean, Carter ain't that. I get your point, but Carter ain't that. So, it is what it is. Plus, Carter, there's going to be questions next year about the shooting. So let's talk about that for a second. But there's a lot of questions about the shooting. Carter eliminates a lot of those questions, because one thing that you can definitely tell is that dude is a pure shooter. He could be Carter could be an All-American next year, and he could shoot 43% for three, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, and that's part of what's going to be the tough thing about the NBA decision is right now, today, he's a little more 4 than 3. But in the NBA, him as a 4 is undersized. Doesn't work, right?
Right.
So he's going to have to figure out how he converts to a full-time 3, which is a little more quickness, a little more physicality, maturity, a little better ball handling. He's already 3-and-D guy, but I think in my mind, his sights are set higher on that of who he can be. But if he comes back, then I think he instantly becomes the number 1 option on offense next year as a sophomore, and becomes kind of that go-to guy who's going to be in that 15, 16, 17 point per game range.
Yes. Okay. So that's where I'm at. I would like to see him come back. Now, KJ Lewis, there's a lot of people out there. Let's get to a couple reads. There's a lot of people out there. I don't know why we're having to talk about this, but we're about to. But first, Baggins, my friends, Baggins. Brogan, you ever take all the guys? You got 3 gremlins running around. You ever take them to Baggins?
Yeah. They love Baggins.
All right, you should use code AZ12, my friend, for 15% off. And again, you could, especially when you got all of those kids coming around, that could save up. Take the kids and Jessica there and have a good time. Also, they have chocolate chip cookies. Do you like chocolate chip cookies, Brogan?
I do.
Who doesn't like?
Does anybody not like chocolate chip cookies?
You don't like chocolate chip cookies? You probably got to reevaluate a little bit where you are in life if you don't like chocolate chip cookies. Check it out, though. All kinds of really good stuff. Maybe you'll see Dennis Walsh there, Girth at Baggins. Now they got 12 locations. Go to their Scottsdale one as well if you are in the area. Baggins, use code AZ12 for 15% off. All right, now what do we got? Oh, yeah. Longview. Andre Veras. Andre Veras is the absolute man. Andre Veras is the man. He went and he put us up in Seattle and did a great job. And again, he can help you get personalized, comprehensive financial planning, tailored retirement income strategies. But again, I cannot endorse Andre Veras. I can only highly recommend him. People keep asking me, will you endorse him? Brogan, I won't do it. I will stand on business. I'm not going to do it. Just not going to happen. But
some things don't need endorsing.
Yes, exactly. And if you go through him, I can't say for a fact that you will get a discount on his personal services, but you might. Check it out, though. Longview Insurance and Investments. Okay. KJ Lewis. The fact that some people don't want him back, I think is crazy. Listen, I think a lot of people, listen, he's far from an ideal player, and as far as being perfect, he's always going to do some silly things. He's probably never going to be a great shooter, but he still does a lot of really good things. And I always think, and here to me, and I'm going to beat up on Sheer a little bit, but here's kind of the point. We were doing a post game show with me, you, and Sheer, and he's like, KJ played like poo, and he's like, he's 4 of 12, and then you're like, he had 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. He's the only guy on the team that can do something like that.
Yeah, and I will agree that he's the lowest basketball IQ player since Jamel Horn. I do agree with that.
But he's a lot better than Jamel Horn. Come on, guys.
100%. He impacts the game significantly more than Jamel Horn. One, you saw late in the game yesterday when he was getting up in Cooper's business and got a turnover or 2 and got us from 12 to 7 and made the game interesting at the end. He's aggressive on rebounding the basketball. He's a good playmaker. Does he do some dumb stuff like try to steal lobs from KJ and get technicals from hanging on the rim and push people to the ground and complain it's not a foul? Sure, he does all of that.
Right.
But if you were to do a pros and cons list with KJ, the list would be like 10 to 3. Pros
And we
versus
always
cons.
talk about it too. I mean, he is the only guy on the roster that, and I'm going to say that he's the only guy on the roster that can get you 3 blocks, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds in a game. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else can even come close to being able to do that. And he's tough. Again, he's just, again, I think we get caught up in this day and age where everyone's like, well, I want him to be a 5-star player. I want him to be penciled in as an NBA lottery pick. Some dudes aren't, but I'll take KJ every day of the week. And also the other thing too is that I like KJ is a tough guy. We've gone through a lot of teams where you kind of wondered, all right, do you really care that much? Are you that tough? All of that stuff. And with KJ, it's kind of like, I don't worry about that. I would much rather have a guy play like that than somebody where I'm like, dude, do you even care if we win? That's kind of where I'm at with him.
Right. The one thing you never have to wonder is if he's playing hard and like trying his hardest to impact the game. And does that result in some bonehead things? Sure. But every coach in America will tell you that they will take the player that will just play as hard as they can and be as tough as they can. I mean, look at Rick Pitino's halftime speech that went viral. Where's your toughness? How do you face to adversity? Like KJ answers all of that. Perfect player? No. Most skilled? No. But he's going to play hard. He's going to be tough every night out. And you'll always take that.
And there was a lot of games like last year, like against Oregon too, where he was the only one on there that TJ Bamba wasn't going to be able to push out of the way and just get an easy bucket. I got to give him, like I said, I think he's a good, I don't think he's a great player, but I think you could I think you could win a lot of games with him. And that's where I'm going to be at. Nick Dogger, I disagree with you. But it is what it is. It's all good. Okay. Now, Jaden Bradley, Jaden Bradley is I definitely want Jaden Bradley back. I think Jaden Bradley with more talent around him is even better. Listen, I think we know at this stage, Jaden Bradley is not he's never going to be an 18, 19 point per game guy. We know what he is, though. He's going to be 13 points. He's going to be 4 assists. He's going to play pesky defense. Like Michael Natowski said, Jaden is a rock. And guys like Jaden, I think, are taken for granted. I really do. You know what you have. Just because he's not necessarily a All-American, I'll take Jaden Bradley every day of the week.
Yeah, and this is it like almost fits perfectly with my argument about NFL quarterbacks. Is like, sure, could we do better than Jaden Bradley? Yes, but we're going to try 10 times and get it wrong 8 because he's that good. And so him being on the team next year, I think, is crucial to the success of the team because A, the best point guards in the portal are going to be out of our price range. And B, we saw with Trey Townsend, you can swing and miss in the portal. You're not going to get like Burries isn't going to come in and be the best point guard in the country or be a point guard on a top 10 team. He's a combo guard who can handle as a backup situation, can distribute the ball, can score, but he's not a pure point guard like Bradley is. And so you need Bradley to guarantee you've got stability in the backcourt no matter what, because it's too risky not to have him.
Yeah, it's too risky not to have him. And again, I feel like there's something in here where it's like, well, we've already been through 2 years of Kerr. We've already been through, a year of Boswell. I mean, if you get somebody in there that's solid, let's take it. I mean, yeah, I think that, you're kind of looking, I think people are kind of looking for a problem where there isn't one. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about Braden Burries here. Arizona obviously needs to be able to get Braden Burries. We'll talk about that in just a second. Jonas, to all the ASU fans heckling us, Arizona basketball is way more prestige than the ASU program. Yeah. That's what I don't get. I don't get the ASU fans talking. You're not playing. So shoo, go away. Yes. Got to get Burries though, I believe. Burries is kind of that one. You got to have the scorer. You got to have somebody that can replace Caleb Love. You talked about it on the phone yesterday. Your point though, I think he's not going to have the highs that Caleb Love did, but he's also going to probably be a little bit more consistent.
And all you need to know about Braden Burries is his high school team went through the gauntlet in California, beating the number 1 player in the class of 2026, beating the number 2 and number 3 player in the class of 2026 on the same team, a bunch of other high-level, Power 5 D1 prospects, dropped 40 in the title game, and his team is really good, but it's not like he's playing at Sierra Canyon where they got, 7 D1 scholarship players. There's him, 1 or 2 other guys, and then a bunch of just normal high school dudes. And so what you get from him is you definitely get an alpha. You get a big guard who can shoot it, who can attack the rim, who can make plays. Again, does he have 35 or 40 in him in college and as a freshman? No, but he's legit. He's going to come in and be a high floor guy who's 12, 13, 14 points a game right out the gate.
All right, Michael Natowski says equals Bayless. No, I don't think he'll be as good as Bayless, but I think he's got a higher ceiling than Bayless. People got to remember here, Jared Bayless, before DeAndre Ayton came here, was probably the best freshman in U of A history. The dude averaged 20 points per game with having Kevin O'Neal as a coach who doesn't try to score the ball. I mean, imagine if he was under Lute where you actually tried to score the ball. Bayless was just a monster at the U of A. So, Burries, I think, Burries has a bigger upside, I think, because when you watch him, he's more natural with his dribble. He can do he can just do more things than Bayless, but right now he's not as good as Bayless. What are you gonna say?
I think Burries, like the freshman expectation for Burries, I think is more in line with Trier than somebody like Bayless or something crazy. Now he's going to be a lot better than Trier long term, but impact as a freshman, I see a Trier type freshman season out of him.
Yeah. I mean, so again, and that's not a diss towards Braden Burries. That's just a remember about how
Trier
good
was really good as a freshman. He was really good as a freshman.
He was really good as a freshman for sure. And all right, so that's kind of where I'm at now. I want to talk a little bit about. Trier did have an awesome 3 months with the Knicks. I've forgotten about that. Is he even playing anymore? Is he like in Singapore or something?
I mean, he has to be playing, but it's not in the NBA.
It's definitely not in the NBA. So he's not going to be a guy that's a bust. Burries is already 20. He's already more physically mature than most freshmen. One thing I got to say about Burries, I don't care if some coach gets mad at me about this. It's my opinion, not theirs. Burries is not a point guard. Burries is when Burries plays in the MNBA, Burries is going to score. Burries is going to be told to score the basketball. When you watch him, he is not a point guard. And again, that's something as well that is not a problem, Brogan. Arizona needs somebody that can score, but he's not a point guard. You and I was funny, like when we were messaging and Sheer kept telling us he's a point guard. I'm like, I think one of us called each other. We're like, he ain't a point guard, dude. Mm-hmm. He can handle the ball, but he ain't a point guard, and I have no problem with that.
And he handles the ball better than Caleb, better than KJ. So could he play spot minutes as a backup point guard? Yes. Do we want to go into next year with Conrad as our backup point guard? No. But if you got to put Burries out there for 8 or 10 minutes to run the offense, cool. I don't need him trying to initiate offense for 30 minutes. He needs to be the guy that's looking to get buckets versus the guy who's trying to facilitate offense for Arizona next year.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that. All right. Now let's talk a little bit. I want to pay some bills here. Got to pay some bills here. Oh, watch this. Oh, we got Green Valley Decorative Rock in the chat. This is going to be good. But first, Brogan, I can't see you. Where'd you go? Are you here?
No, just my screen looks exactly the same. It didn't change at all.
I can't see anything. Oh gosh. Bayless didn't play for Lute. He played for Kevin O'Neal. Trust me, I know that one. All right, now Arizona Primary Eye Care. Trust me. You might say to yourself, Mike Luke, there is no way that you can ever look cool in life. Correct. But these Tom Fords right here, these things make me look a lot cooler than I ever should. That is true. These things very, very cool. Look at me. And they got AccuView now offering $400 contacts, $150 for disposables. You got to fill them up though. 60 insurances accepted same day again. And on top of that, they got proud partner of Arizona Athletics, and they're not going to come in there. They're not going to remove your eyelids and say that it's preventative maintenance or something. They're not going to do any of that. Get them in there. They got 4 different locations. Check it out. Arizona Primary Eye Care. Okay, now, all right. Welcome to the Rock. Green Valley Decorative Rock. Hey, Brogan, you got a big backyard. You should be looking for some. Are you looking for any rock? Are you looking for any pavers?
I don't need pavers. I got a lot of rock in my backyard, though, that's old that could be replaced. So maybe. Yes. Green Valley Decorative Rock. They just had their best month on record. And you want to know why? I think a big reason is because people stopped driving all the way to Green Valley. There have been rumors that have been thrown around for so long that they're only in Green Valley. It's like a picketing campaign. And we are here to fight against those rumors. And they are here. They deliver up to Marana. Or they deliver up to Oracle, west to Marana, east to Sierra Vista Benson, and south to Nogales. And if you get like a ton of their stuff, they'll deliver it for you. And again, check it out though, Green Valley Decorative Rock. Hey, let me hear your Sean Connery impression. Let's see if it's better than mine. I thought yours was a cameo from Sean Connery. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Hey, Cody.
To the Rock.
Yes, welcome to the Rock. Green Valley Decorative Rock. Back the rock, baby. Back the rock. Yes. Okay. Now let's talk one guy. Oh, $5 super snap. Caleb in the Ring of Honor. All right, let's see here. Appreciate you. Caleb in the Ring of Honor. To me, it's a no-brainer. If Matherin is up there, thanks for this. This pod makes my day. Very much appreciate you, Parker Scott. I got no problem putting he was the Pac-12 player of the year. I got no problem. If dudes like Marcus Williams or Josh Green are in the Ring of Honor, then I absolutely could put Caleb Love in the Ring of Honor.
Well, and Caleb being an All-American last year, I think almost cements it for him.
I would definitely put him in there. Now, let's see here. Dick Wilson, your guy, Dick Wilson. John, do you have a full basketball court in the backyard yet? Getting kids ready for college basketball? They're football players.
They got the football gene, not the basketball gene. They got the football gene.
Yeah, nice try, Dick Wilson. Nice. Hey, does Dick Wilson still live in Bisbee? Or not Bisbee, Benson?
The upgrade to Bisbee? Yeah.
Oh,
so.
no.
No,
you guys live in Pomerania or Pomeranian, right?
Yeah, not the dog. Pomeranian, not the dog. Pomeranian.
Does he live there? Does Dick Wilson live in Benson, though?
Benson, yeah.
Okay. Dick Wilson, move to Bisbee. It's better. Okay. Now, let's talk about Mo Crevis again. Yes. That's funny. All right. Mo Crevis, like I said, I would go with Tobe. I would prefer Tobe. But at the same time, Tommy Lloyd, when it comes to big men, his track record speaks for itself. All these people that I thought weren't going to be that good, I never saw Umar Ballo becoming 15 and 10, and nobody else did, so don't say you did. What he's done with Henry, that's like I said, he knows what so if he thinks that Mo Crevis can be that next level player for him, then guess what? I'm gonna fully trust what Tommy has to say on that one.
And look, Henry played sparingly as a freshman, hurt as a sophomore, comes back as a junior, redshirt sophomore, whatever he is, and has a major impact. I mean, Crevis is kind of following that same path, sits out a year from injury, comes back, significantly better because he's had effectively a whole year to refine his game. So yeah, like Tommy's track record with big men suggests that Crevis is going to come back and be an impact player next year for sure.
Yeah, I would certainly assume so. I'm so incredibly sad. Why are you sad? I don't know why. Don't be sad. Okay. Now the other thing too, that we need to talk a little bit about is where Dwayne Aristod. I agree with you. Aristod to me though, anytime I'm dealing with foot injuries though, I'm going to take it slow because again, that's just kind of where I go with that. I'm going to take it slow. Foot injuries are all different. I mean, remember when Pella got here his first year and Pella looked terrible for the first 2 months of the season. Boswell didn't look great either because you can't run. You can't do anything on a foot. So and Aristod has a foot. He's supposed to be, he does have a foot, but he's supposed to be cleared by April. You got 5-6 months. I feel good about it. But again, anytime it's a foot injury, I'm going to proceed with caution.
Hopefully he has 2 feet.
Yeah, he does have 2 feet. Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
All right, good. Yeah, I mean, with Aristod, the good news is, let's assume we get Burries, is he can be a backup 3, spot minutes at the 4, and he's playing 15 to 20 a game. We're not solely dependent on him. To me, he's all upside. I think he's going to be really good. The coaching staff loves him. They think that everybody's sleeping on him. And so for him, it's low risk, all reward because they're not going to be counting on him to be a starter, but he could be a major impact player for them next year.
Yeah, for sure. That's just like I said, that's just kind of where I'm at with that. Dwayne Aristod, though. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the clutch factor and why this was so smart for the University of Arizona and to get Bryce James. I'm not a big fan of charity scholarships. I mean, I've made that known. But if I'm going to offer guys that can't be that aren't going to play for a while, I want to see them and I want to look at them and say, man, they got the upside to be good here down the road. Maybe they won't, but they do. Like, let's be honest here. We watched and we love Philly B, but we watched Philly B for like 2 minutes and we're like, yeah, Philly B's never going to play here. Conrad, kind of the same thing. Any meaningful minutes. Bryce James, though, is a guy that first of all, we'll get to that in a second, but Bryce James is someone that he could shoot the ball. He's 6'5". He's getting better. If he has to take a couple years to get good, I'm totally cool with it. But those are the kind of guys that I want to recruit and then say, okay, maybe by the time you're a sophomore or a redshirt sophomore or a junior, you can be ready to rock and roll. Those are the kind of guys. Iggy Jr. is in that same boat as well.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily care about size so much, but if I'm going to if I'm going to try to develop a player, I'm always going to err on the side of athleticism. You could be 6'2", you could be 7'2", you could be 6'8", doesn't matter. But I'm going to err on the side of athleticism. Conrad's never going to be a Big 12 level athlete, and that's always going to limit his ceiling. Could he, as a junior, senior, could he be a serviceable backup? Sure, but he's never going to be able to attack the rim. He's going to make open threes and maybe not turn the ball over. But if I can get Bryce James, who I know is going to be a way above average athlete, he thought he was going to be short, so he developed a jump shot so he can already shoot. That's the guy I want to take for a year or two, assuming that the family's aligned with that plan, because as a junior, there's no reason why he couldn't potentially start or make a major impact.
All right, we're going to get to ADO here in a second. Great question. Daniel, you're my guy, but I disagree with you. Iggy's kid would be a better fit than Arenas. Gilbert taught him to be selfish, especially like Gilbert was one of the 10 best players in the NBA. I mean,
led the league in scoring one year, right?
Yeah. He had 4 years where he was scoring 30 points per game and taking some bum teams to like 3 seeds in the playoffs. I mean, Gilbert is at his apex, was the best player to ever come out of Arizona. And quite frankly, it's not even close. Iggy did a lot of the Iggy just couldn't do what Gilbert did. So that's where that's just kind of where it's at. Again, he's dropping 60 points on Kobe Bryant. I mean, there's not a lot of dudes that are dropping with Kobe Bryant guarding him. That's how good he is. Now let's talk ADO here for a second, but first let's get a few more reads in here. Bridge Tech Communications, my friends. I was up in Seattle and I was looking for a gym and I couldn't find a gym, and that's probably because there was no Bridge Tech Communications being utilized. 750% average ROI. Bridge Tech Communications. If you've got a gym, you got a health, you got a wellness spa, you need to get in there. They promote 100 health entities across multiple states. Tony is the man. He does this. He knows exactly what he is doing. He is like I said, if you got a gym, you got a wellness spa, anything, that's what you're going to want to have to do. Check it out, bridgetechcommunications.com. That's one of those ones where you're going to thank me later on that one. That's for sure. Yes. And we've got Comfort X HVAC. Now, let's say our good pal Tony Gimino went through Comfort X HVAC and they saved him a couple $1,000s. Look at Anthony Gimino right there. Look at this. Look at that specimen. I've never seen him happier because generally he's unhappy, probably because his HVAC wasn't working. His HVAC is working now, and these guys are the best. Again, they saved him a couple $1,000s, and he also said that they were really, really nice in the process. Everybody that has gone through them has told me that they're really good in the process. Use code Wildcats for 10% off. Code word Wildcats, 10% off small business with big savings, my friends. And Eris Dental, our guy, land the man with the master plan. He's the man. Here's the deal now. You got these dental implants for $1997. The championship package, my friend. The championship package, again, my nickname in high school. But either way, you can get these $1997 and you can get the crown on top of that. So you don't have to go to Nicaragua or like Burundi or some Northern European country to have this done. You can go straight to Eris Dental and they will help you out. Also prevent only necessary treatment. They let you keep your tongue. TucsonTeeth.com or TucsonImplants.com. Check it out. ADO. Okay, let's see here. Mike, throw it out there. It doesn't matter. What's the my opinion on the third assistant coach is essentially this, that Jack Murphy and TJ Benson work their butt off. I give Steve Robinson a Lifetime Achievement Award. I have to have 3 coaches that actually recruit. Mike, just drop it. He won't care. But I got to have 3 guys that just recruit. That's the way it is in this day and age. Now, Anthony Del Orso, I would, Steve Robinson is retiring. Wish Steve Robinson nothing but the best, but again, salute emoji. But yes, Arizona needs a third assistant in there. Brogan, that's where you want to get somebody in there. I know this will sound crazy. You want to get a Book Richardson type in there, not.
Yeah, so TJ and Murph worked their tails off. TJ was the lead recruiter for Koa, Murph's the lead recruiter for Burries. They put in countless hours. They're amazing.
Yeah,
but they also need another younger recruiter type assistant coach. For Arizona, Tommy Lloyd is such a good offensive coach. I don't worry about game planning. I don't worry about style. I worry about players. If you bring players to Arizona, Tommy's
He'll
going
figure it out.
to the heck out of it. And so I'm of the fan that, like, if you give me 3 dynamic recruiters, hard worker guys, we're all good. And Book ideally would be he's the perfect type of fit because he was Miller's right hand when it came to recruiting. No question.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing too is that if Lloyd's going to have that recruiting strategy where you're only going to offer a limited amount of kids, having another one that is, is pounding the pavement, that is in on, that knows, it just makes life a lot easier. It just makes life a lot easier for him. That's kind of where I'm at. So again, salute emoji, wish him well, but I think this is something where Arizona can definitely upgrade. Now, ADO, I would love to have ADO back. But ADO, I still think if I'm ADO, I don't know that if it's my last year in college, I played, at this level, I don't know that I want to be an 8th man. Now, maybe he does. Brogan, at the end of the day, though, kids want to play. Like the whole thing about, I just want to win. Well, you want to win if you're going to play. Nobody cares about if you're going to win if you don't play. Because it doesn't matter. I'd love to have him back, but I don't know that ADO is probably going to be okay being an 8th man.
Yeah, and let's operate that the starting 5 next year is Bradley, Burries, KJ, or Carter, one of the two, certainly not both.
Right.
And then Koa and Vesar.
Mm-hmm.
And so Burries is going to play 25 to 30 minutes a game. Whoever the small forward is, whether it's KJ or Carter, one stays, one goes. That's another 25 plus minutes a game. So ADO has to be really comfortable saying my role is going to be 12 to 15 minutes. It certainly isn't going to be starting and playing 12 minutes. It's going to be playing 12 off the bench at best. And when ADO came to Arizona, he basically said, hey, I'm here for year 2. That's when I want to make my impact. I think he also had a reality check this year of like, my handle, how physical I am.
There's certain games I can't.
The Big 12. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just certain games, like if you're ADO and you go to maybe the Big East or just something like that, you could maybe get away. You can get away. The Big 12 is just a tough conference for him because there's certain games that you will just never be able to play in. He was never going to be able to play against Houston ever.
And what you have to assume today is it's easy to get into another situation today. 5 years ago, it was much harder. So for him, he can enter the portal. He'll go find a starting pot somewhere, and he'll probably average 12, 14 points a game at a smaller school.
Because the thing is,
great for him,
Because the thing about it, though, ADO serves a purpose, and I think people on here, yes, he's not great defensively. I get all that. ADO can really shoot, and on top of ADO's got balls. There's which is something. ADO, that next shot's going in. That's something you have to have, and he's a fairly clever finisher around the basket. He really is. ADO at St. Mary's or something would be great.
Mm-hmm.
ADO at St. Mary's would average 14 points per game, and he would shoot 44% from 3. And, he'd be able to guard other like-minded athletes. How about that?
And where I'm at, same as before, if he transfers and we can go find somebody in the portal who's maybe a better athlete, better ball handler, better defender, I'm good with that. Yeah,
for sure. But that's also one thing, though, too, that I don't, if he's cool being the 8th guy, I totally want him back. If it's matchup specific where it's like, hey, dude, some games you're going to play 6 minutes per game. Some days you're going to play 19 minutes. If he's cool in that role, I would totally take him back. But, it is what it is. Okay. But either way, Brogan, I think next year, again, depending on how it all plays out, I think next year this has a chance to be Arizona's best team under Tommy Lloyd. Certainly his most well-rounded team.
I think, again, if they get Burries, I think it's his most talented team on paper, even more so than the first year. Right. Can he put it all together? They're going to score a ton of points. Can they guard well enough? Are they going to be physical and tough enough? I think what this year has done is it's set the kind of bar for physicality for Arizona.
I agree.
Bradley coming back, Vesar coming back. If KJ comes back, you'll have guys who can set that tone in practice and teach the young guys hey, the Big 12 is no joke. Here's where you've got to be at. And again, there's no substitution for talent. You can coach up all you want, but in the end, talent typically,
the end of the day, you still got to have players. And I will say this right now: if Arizona were to somehow get back Carter Bryant next year, I believe that they would be I would take that roster over any team in the country. Point blank.
Yeah. What I will throw out there is, Igor Demon yesterday in his post game says, you know what? I think I might want to come back and play with AJ next year.
I don't believe that. I think that's all crap. When you're a top 10 pick,
if he comes back, BYU is going
Right.
to be one of the 3 best teams in the country.
Well, I mean, you look at it, Houston then as well. I mean, they could return Houston's going to be a problem. But either way, Arizona is going to be right here. I agree with that, Kobe. I believe this year kind of built the culture a little bit about getting tougher. I think that's a great point. Norrin Rudin, the roster issues are good problems to have. Glad I'm not Tommy for sure. $5 super snap. Okay, now I can't imagine. Now Daniel says I can't imagine AZ having the NIL for Burries and Carter, but Brogan. I tend to agree with it, but you got a little bit of a dissenting point of view. Go with it. It's not a bad point.
Yeah. So look, if you want to look at Arizona's NIL budget as a fixed flat thing every year, cool. I don't look at it like that. What I look at it as, there's people out there with money who love Arizona basketball. And if you've got a sales pitch of, hey, for an extra $1 million, we bring Carter Bryant back and we're a legit national title contender, that's going to be compelling to the people with the money, right? I'm not just going to give money to keep KJ Lewis so we can win 20 games.
Right, but if I can
Carter with Koa, with Burries, with all the team, like that's
and you're looking at breaking through to the Final Four and legitimately competing for a national title. I mean, yeah,
for an extra $1 million,
right.
Like
it just is what it is now. Uncle Bert bringing the cash. Dennis Walsh who drives him around. All right, real quick, I wanted to say this. I wanted to save this for the end of the show. I know some people flame me for it. I don't care. Cooper Flagg's insane. That Duke team is the best team in college basketball. They just are. And I know some people might disagree with this, but Cooper Flagg is absolutely amazing. There are no weaknesses to his game whatsoever. There just aren't.
Well, and he led Duke in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, blocks, and improved his three and shot over 40% from 3 the second half.
And he just turned 18.
Yeah, like there's no weakness. He's 6'10", 6'11" with a long wingspan. Great timing shot blocker, plays with a chip on his shoulder, can handle insanely good for somebody who's that size. There's really no comparison for him. I don't know who the comp is. He's not Kevin Durant because he's a better defender at this stage than Durant was. Not as good offensively. I don't really know what the comp is for him. It's crazy.
I think there is no comp. Let me ask you this. Is he the best? Would you agree with it, though, that he's the best college prospect since Anthony Davis entered the draft, where it's just like, barring injury, this dude's going to be everything?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, everybody, you guys are all the best. We very, very much appreciate it. Yes. Cooper Flagg loves basketball and Hooper. Yeah, for sure. You guys are the best. We're going to probably take tomorrow off. But we will be back. We got, again, off season is here. We got football as well. But again, there's going to be a lot of movement with Arizona basketball. I would expect Braden Burries announcements here fairly soon. And Arizona's going to be hitting the portal. They know what they are doing. All right. On that note, though, you guys are all the best. For John Brogan, for Cody James Martin, we will be back with you. You've been listening to the AZ12 podcast.